Okay, so I wanted to talk about something today. Pretty interesting. I'd wanted to talk about this for a while, and I just never took the time to make a video about it. Remember when I did my video about prankster? One of these YouTube pranksters will get shot. Somebody sent me a very interesting link that this had already happened prior to my video. It's where someone got shot. Okay, so I'm going to give you the gist of basically of what happened. But first, let me tell you the outcome. A 16-year-old boy was shot by a Vice Lord gang member that was a drug dealer, and it was 100% self-defense. So we'll just start off the story like that to make you kind of curious. So basically, here's what happened. This 16-year-old boy and his friend had a video camera. They thought they were going to have some fun, so they went to the south side of Chicago. And what the boy was going to do was he put a box of hair dye in his front right pocket of his jeans. And what they were doing was basically looking for drug dealers or people out on the street, or probably maybe whoever they could find. And the boy went up to these two guys that were the Vice Lord gang members. The boy says, "Are you ready to die tonight?" and sticks his hand in his front right pocket. The friend of the guy who he said it to, that was standing right there with him, pulls out a gun and shoots his kid several times in the head. Now, it was later found, what was going on, and the video was turned into the police. I don't even think the video's ever made it online. So you might ask yourself, well, how was that ruled self-defense and all this and that, and they were gang members and all this? Well, here's the thing. Whether you're a gang member or whatever you do, somebody still can't just come up and, kill you. You still can defend yourself. I mean, I'm not condoning drug dealing by any means, but I'm just letting you know the fact of the matter. If you're on the street corner dealing drugs and a rival gang member comes up to you and puts a gun in your face, and you stab this guy in the heart, and he falls to the ground and he's got the gun in his hand, it wouldn't even make sense for you to be charged with murder at that point, because even though you were doing an illegal activity, you were in fear of that you were going to lose your life. Now, you're still going to get charged because it was committed while you were performing an illegal activity, okay? So you're still going to get some kind of charge, but you're not going to get a full max, first-degree murder. Anyway, back to the subject. Basically, there was no arrests ever made in that, because basically what the jury, or what the people that's asked, or I don't even know if it went to a jury, the prosecutor might have thrown it out. Basically, the question is would you, a reasonable sober person in this guy's situation, have felt fear of serious bodily injury or death at the time he committed the act that he committed? Well, the answer to that comes back to yes. There was 80 shootings in Chicago the 4th of July weekend. And yes, this is a verifiable fact. Now, of the 80, 14 died. I had somebody send me a message and said, can I verify this fact of what I say about Chicago? Are you that stupid? What do you think? Chicago's a war zone. You really think I'm making this up when I tell you that 80 people were shot, 14 were killed in Chicago the 4th of July weekend? This place is known to be like Iraq in the United States. And some goofball idiot, bleeding heart liberal, comes over and says, can I show my source for these facts? Go look it up, you goofball. How you like that? How you like me now? Okay, anyway. Would a reasonable person in your situation at the time you did something have felt the same way? And the answer to that's pretty much yes. Okay? Now, this is kind of funny. Some people don't know this. Some people do. There's been cases in the past where, like in New York City, back in the 70s, 80s, someone would carry a gun illegally. A law-abiding citizen would carry a gun illegally because the Constitution protects that, so he is still a law-abiding citizen, even if he carried a gun illegally in New York City. And basically something would happen on the subway or somewhere, and this man had a legitimate reason to fear for his life. He used his firearm and killed the criminal that had the gun or the knife and was going to cause him serious bodily injury or death. And then when he went to court, believe it or not, New York is so anti-gun, you gotta get this, you gotta hear this. The guy was acquitted of killing the other person, but they charged him with CCW, carrying concealed weapon, and made it stick. This is how stupid these liberal states are. This is how dumb. I mean, yeah, the guy did have a legitimate self-defense case. He was going to be dead or seriously injured when the law-abiding citizen pulled his gun and shot the criminal. So the prosecutor threw that out in New York, and they still took him to court on carrying the gun he used illegally. Oh my gosh. Dude, these liberals are such whack jobs, man. These liberal states. Look at the mess, okay? Look at all the worst crime areas and the worst crime and worst cities, and they're all liberal-run states. Baltimore, okay? Baltimore, look at what happened to that city. That's total. You can't get more liberal than that. Chicago, you can't get more liberal than that. The mayor in Chicago's still blaming guns. After this weekend and 80 were shot, he's still saying it's the gun. I mean, you gotta laugh. You gotta laugh at this. They won't take responsibility, so they got to try to put the blame somewhere, because that city is literally, I read some statistic, and I can't verify this, so don't quote me, but it said something like that during that weekend, like more people were shot than that in Afghanistan when we were in the war, during the normal days of Afghanistan. But I can't quote that word for word, so I'm not going to, I'm not going to cite that as 100% what it said, but something to that effect. But these liberal-run cities, look at how they are. Look at how they are. The mayor got up and said, well, they're doing what they need to do, and she talked about burning down the city. Are you stupid? Man, these liberals, man, they need to get a life. I'm telling you what, guys. All right, well, just thought you'd find that story interesting. If you want to know my opinion, I agree that even though these guys were vice lord gang member drug dealers, I do agree that when he thought that when somebody said, do you want to die, and jammed their hand in their front right pocket, I agree that he had the right to self-defense before that person came out of their pocket with a gun, which is what a reasonable person would have thought. That's just my opinion, especially in the south side of Chicago. On that circumstance, that's my opinion. All right, guys, until next time, I hope you're having a wonderful day. I grabbed a new gun. I'll show it to you here real quick. Try to guess the gun I got. It's a newer one. Came out within the last 2 years. H4T. Out.